All right, so in this video, I'm going to take you through some Laravel better practices. Maybe you're making these mistakes, maybe you're not. This is basically the first episode in a series that I plan to do incrementally, so I'm not going to upload every day or sometimes even every week, but it's just something that I can add to give you guys some insights into maybe some other optimizations that can be made to your own code base. I know some of these things that I'll be showing you are things that I used to do. I'm not going to call them entirely mistakes, but more, a lot of it is just we don't realize what methods are available to us, what functions are available to us, what classes are available to us that Laravel puts in place. And sometimes we're kind of writing our own workarounds to make that happen. So or we're just doing it as we think best to do. And a lot of the time our code works, which is great. If your code works, it's relatively clean and understandable. Then there's really nothing to feel bad about per se. But these are just some examples of the common things. And as we progress further down the line, I'll show you some of my best practices, what a lot of the community are doing, other developers and contributors to Laravel, and we'll go from there. So in this video, I'm going to give you an example here. I have a controller. I have a database full of posts, so it could be blog posts, whatever. We got titles, we got descriptions, we got our content, we have the number of views of those posts here. And this might be how one of your general routes might look. So I'll just go to my web route here. We can see I created a resource controller for posts. Then we go to the post controller class in there, and you see that I pulled the namespace in here, resolved it there. Okay, so for example, with a request in the URL, they might be passing order by or sort or whatever other parameters you might want to pass through. And in here, you can see we're just running basically a bunch of conditionals to see if that exists. So for example, if order by, does exist, then we want to check, okay, well, what is it that we're ordering by? Okay, well, we're ordering by views. So basically this is where we do the create of the database to pull in the results. So if it's by views, then we want to see basically if those are sorted, so it would be from greatest to smallest or smallest to greatest. So this would be like, if you were to do look for the most popular posts, for example, you'd want to know by how many times it's been viewed. So that's one thing there. And then in here, yeah, we're passing request sort as another optional parameter. If that doesn't exist, then the default is just to go descending order that way. Another one created at, so you could go like from newest to oldest or oldest to newest, and then you could pull those in. And if it doesn't meet any of those conditionals, then basically, posts, we want to return all the posts and post all here. So, I mean, it is straightforward what we're trying to do, but the code does look, initially a little bit bulky, a little bit chunky. Like we can save some lines of code, and we can use some functions that are available to us that Laravel provides to make that work. So let's see what this looks like as we're actually pulling it in. I'm just going to, I already booted up my development server, so I'll show you what the page looks like that's returning the posts, okay? So right here we can see there's some randomized data, like when it was created, the titles, content, it's all lorem ipsum. We have category IDs in here, we have author ID, so on and so forth. All right, so that should make some sense there. Some things that we'll see organized would be, for example, the newest post, so when it was created, or most popular post. So we can do some things like, we could pass some URL parameters here, like order by equals views, for example. Okay, so you can see we have the most amount of views per post descends from there, right? Okay. We could also send, we could send role equals, oops, let's see here, and I might say role equals ascending, okay. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. So we have roles equals ascending or descending if we pass through sort. Sorry, so it should be sort. Okay, not roll. Okay, there you go. So ascending, so basically from lowest to highest there for the views. And that might work too for like, created at. Okay. So created at, this would be the older post. Would this be the oldest post? Let's see here. Let's get rid of this. Order by created at. And we can see created at, and then it just goes down descending order, right? Okay, under created at. Should be descending anyways. Yeah, it is. Okay. And then if we want to pass through sort, we can do that here. We'll say ascending, so back to 2018, 02. All right, hopefully that is actually ascending. Yeah, okay, so we can see it is ascending. So the date's getting closer to our date. Okay, so that's great. Now, how can we actually clean this up? So we have all of these conditional blocks in here where we then decide how we want to run our query. Well, really easy. Laravel gives us the ability to set those conditionals and then return basically append to our query to the database. So I'll show you what that looks like. So first thing we're going to use is when. So when is your conditional? In here, your first argument is going to be, whatever returns true or false. So if this value returns true, then it will run and append what it needs to append. So in here, we want to see, okay, when we have request order by, then it takes a callback function as query is its only parameter. We're going to use request to get access to the request object inside of our callback function. If you don't do this, you won't have access to the request object. Then from here, we want to say, okay, request order by equals views. So we can even run if-else statements in here, but ideally, if we formatted the parameters that are coming through in our URL properly to match up with our database and the tables, things like that, then that's better. So in here, we want to return query, and we'll just say where. We'll say, so if it's order by, then we want to go order by, use that method. And then we want to specify, okay, so request order by, and then here we can return, is it the sort, so how is it sorted? Okay, and then if that returns nothing, basically if we haven't passed that parameter through, it's going to default to descending. Probably don't have to put descending in there because even if you put null, then it should automatically default to descending as its option. Okay, and that's basically it. All we have to do now is just finish off the query. So we'll get our results in here. I'm going to go ahead. Now, basically, one other thing that's going to happen here is if these conditions aren't met, then basically it's just going to return everything in the database, typically as it's ordered by the way it was inserted. So this basically makes this and this obsolete, and we don't have to put in, this additional query based on that parameter. So let's go ahead. We're going to delete this, and we'll see if we basically get the same results. This is one of the most common ways that I'm finding, especially when I'm working with junior developers, that I end up refactoring their code, or even sometimes myself. When I look back a few years ago, as I'm updating some of my more legacy 3 years ago projects, right? So, yeah, okay. So that's how that looks. Let's go ahead and give this a try on the front end, and we'll basically see, does this work? Okay. So it looks like it's working here, created at, because that's how we're ordering it by. And then here it should just be ascending from there, right? Or sorry, descending. So from the latest date to the not latest date. Let's pass this through. We'll say and sort equals ascending. Okay. And we can see it starts with our oldest one, moves up. And in here, I'll show you again, views. We want to check by our views table. Okay. And we can see here, ascending starts with the lowest, goes up. If I remove that, or if I go descending, okay, that works as well. And if I get rid of this, it passes through any which way you want. Okay. So that's a real quick way to just do a quick and simple refactor of your code. Doesn't take much time to redo basically a bunch of controllers that might look kind of kind of heavy. So yeah, hope you liked it. Let me know definitely what you think of the new series that I plan to put out, and have a good day.